Very good morning to all the students of class 10th D. Those who can, beta, kindly switch on the videos. We are going to take part in this question answer discussion. Very easy questions, not that difficult. We have read this chapter in detail. We have been doing it since 3 days, you can say. Okay, page number 17 of your book. I'll show you here. You can see on screen. Yes, beta. Fine. On page number 17, you have an activity that I already asked you that we will be doing on at the end of the chapter when we will be knowing all the different meanings. So whosoever will be, want to participate and all, they can send me thumbs up or they can raise hands. I'll be unmuting you, or you can write your answers in the chat box also. Clear? Okay. So first is exercise in which they have asked you to just match column A with column B with appropriate meaning. Fine. One expression is given. Few expressions are given in column A. You need to match it with in column B. A rainbow gathering of different colors and nations. It means a beautiful coming together of various peoples. Okay. Participants. One child has raised hand and suddenly, okay, who's there? Let everyone join. Who's raising hand? Gia. Okay, Gia. Now I'll be unmuting you. Gia, you can participate in this. Yes. Yes, Gia. Gia, unmute yourself, beta.
मैम आपने मुझे अनम्यूट कर दिया.
Okay, Banu. There is the problem is that sometimes, Gia, you are also unmuted. You can speak. Yes, roll number 19, Gia. I don't think so. It's possible. Okay, rather than wasting time, the hand is continuously raised with this rule number 19. When I try to unmute, a voice is not coming. Maybe some technical issue, or maybe you have just raised hand by mistake. I don't know. So a rainbow gathering of different colors and nations. It means a beautiful coming together of various peoples like the colors in a rainbow. Different peoples from different backgrounds and races were sitting all together. That's why rainbow gathering. Match it with number 1. Number 2 is the seat of white supremacy. White supremacy is center of racial superiority. Center of racial superiority. Yes, Bisam, fine. You are sending me the answers. Then we have third, be overwhelmed with a sense of history. It feel deeply emotional, you can say. Overwhelmed with a sense of history. Then you have fourth is resilience that defies the imagination. A great ability. Many students are joining in now. Manmeet, Parth. Beta, please join well in time. It distracts the teacher. Clear? So, resilience that defies the imagination of great ability to remain unchanged by suffering. Fifth is a glimmer of humanity, a sign of human feeling. A twilight existence, a half secret life like a life lived in the fading light between sunset and darkness. Clear? Twilight से ही clear हो जाता है. So we have matched this. Now let's start with the question answers. The major part of the day, that is on page number 18, oral comprehension check. Where did the ceremonies take place? Can you name any public buildings in India that are made of sandstone? If you know the answer, you can raise hand because a lot of time already wasted. So I'll be discussing answers with you. So the inaugural chat box is open. Those who want to answer. Yes. Clear? The inaugural took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheater. You need to mention that amphitheater. Okay, beta? The inaugural took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheater formed by the Union Buildings in Pretoria. And for decades, this had been the seat of white supremacy. Clear? And then they have asked, can you name any public buildings in India? Yes, they are the Parliament, the Rashtrapati Bhavan, and the Red Fort in Delhi. I repeat, they are Parliament, comma, the Rashtrapati Bhavan, and the Red Fort in Delhi. Clear? Second question is, can you say how May 10 is an autumn day in South Africa? How May 10 is an autumn day in South Africa? Divyansh, you want to speak better?
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, beta.
Ma'am, May 10 in Autumn's Day in South Africa, as it marks the end of the earlier racial regime and the coming of new democratic government.
Okay. Your voice is not that louder, but I could hear a few words only. Clear. But your answer, I guess you're giving right answer. Can you say how May 10 is an autumn day? Autumn in South Africa, 10th of May was an autumn day, literally as well as metaphorically. Right? Firstly, you will tell that in South Africa, 10th May was an autumn day, literally as well as symbolically. How literally and symbolically? Literally means in reality. In autumn season, trees, you can say they start shedding leaves. All the rotten and old leaves start falling in the autumn season. So May was the ending point of that. Clear? And then symbolically, the old and rotten system, as you know that apartheid system was being followed there in South Africa earlier. So you can say symbolically the old and rotten system of apartheid was coming to an end. Clear? A new republic based on equality. A new republic based on equality and you can say equal opportunities was being formed. That is why 10th of May is an autumn day. Clear? Now, second question, you keep noting down the value points. It will be very beneficial for you, beta. Can you say how at the beginning of his speech, third question is, at the page number, beta 19 now. Let me change the page on the screen also. Third, fourth, and fifth question we are going to do. Clear? At the beginning of his speech, Mandela mentions an extraordinary human disaster. What does he mean by this? What is the glorious human achievement he speaks at the end? So two things they are asking. First is extraordinary human disaster. Very easy it is, very easy. Divyansh is raising hand. What about others? They are not taking part in it. Tanya, okay. Tanya, you can unmute yourself and speak, beta.
Ma'am, at the beginning of his speech, Mandela mentions an extraordinary human disaster, which is about the apartheid system which
Very
was
good.
followed in South Africa. He was the only one who changed the mindset of people and make them live happily. This was meant by the glorious human achievement, as the blacks could live freely and happily in the coming years.
Very good, very good. You can mute yourself. Now my voice is clear. By mistake that happened. I'm so sorry about that. By mistake, it was muted. Fine. So I got n number of messages that is the benefit of attentive students. Well done. So I was so lost in explaining the answer, I could not see that I'm muted here. So I was just saying that some students, I just want to name them. Those who take part, Divyansh is there, Tanya is there, fine. Then recently, many other children, Bissam is there, fine. Sorry if I have not taken any other name. Gia was there, but those who are raising hand, those who want to participate, those who give answer, well done, because they are the attentive listener, that shows. Clear? So now, what does Mandela thank the international leaders for? Fourth question. Third is clear to everyone? Third answer is clear. Send me thumbs up for that. Clear, beta? Now, fourth answer. Okay. What does Mandela thank the international leaders for? Anyone who would like to participate? Raise your hand. I don't want same children again and again. Any other child who wants to answer this? I'll just wait a couple of seconds and then I'll continue. No? Same students are raising hand. Let me answer this. So what does Mandela thank the international leaders for? Very easy. Nelson Mandela thanks the international leaders for sharing a common cause. Right? He just actually they were there. They just set the base of New Republic. Clear? They set the base of New Republic. He thanks the international leaders for sharing a common victory for justice, for peace, for human dignity. Clear? Three things I have mentioned. He thanks the international leaders for sharing a common victory for justice, for peace, for human dignity. So he was quite thankful that they also remained behind the bars. He was thankful that they sacrificed their precious lives for the sake of justice and freedom. So he was quite thankful that whatever he could achieve was just because of the base they have set. Clear? Now, fifth question, what ideals does he set out for the future of South Africa? Anyone? What ideals does he set out for the future of South Africa? What he wants for South Africa after, you can say, becoming the president? What he has envisioned? Isha Preet, okay. Isha Preet, unmute yourself. I become so happy when somebody, a new child comes there. Yes, Isha Preet.
Ma'am, Mandela had high hopes for the future of South Africa. He privileged to liberate of South Africa from continuing bondage of poverty, suffering, gender, and other discrimination.
Very good. So you can mute yourself. Now, see, there are a lot of many ideals. Actually, he has envisioned so many things. Nelson Mandela sets out many ideals for the future of South Africa. First of all, he wanted to break the apartheid system. This apartheid system will, come everywhere whenever you are talking about long walk to freedom. So he wanted to break that regime or system of apartheid based on racial discrimination. That is the first ideal. Then he wanted to end it forever. He wanted that even after I'm not chosen as the president, someone else will be there. I just wanted to break it. Fine. Secondly, first is he wanted to break the apartheid system permanently. Secondly, the blacks will not suffer any exploitation or oppression on the basis of race, color, creed, etc. Thirdly, new republic. So when we remember the points turn in that way, we are able to make them permanent in our memory. Clear? Firstly, he wanted to break the apartheid system. Secondly, he wanted that black men should get equal rights. And thirdly, he wants new republic will be based on justice, peace, and human dignity. I keep on using these three words: justice, peace, and human dignity. There will be equal opportunities for all kinds of people from all backgrounds. This is what he has envisioned for South Africa. Now come to next page, beta. Yes. Page number 21. What do the military generals do? How has their attitude changed and why? What do the military generals do? How has their attitude changed and why? Anybody? Only one child? Two children raising hands. Okay, Princey, you can answer it. I just wait for the one who has not participated. Yes, Princey?
The military generals of South Africa Defence Force saluted Mandela and pledged their loyalty. Their attitude towards blacks had changed. Instead of arresting a black, they saluted him.
Fine. You have given right answer, but order should be correct. Tell you, let me clarify here. So they are asking, what do the military generals do? Means in general, what do they do? And how has their attitude changed? The changed attitude to be mentioned later on. So you'll say Nelson Mandela recalls. Fine. He was, when he was taking the oath ceremony, he was sitting there. He was just thinking that Nelson Mandela remembers how the generals of South African Army and the other, you can say, high police officers, they and the other leaders, how they would treat him, and they how they would treat all the black men, fine, of his race some time ago, fine. But now their attitude is totally different. They are bedecked with medals. They are having high ranks. Their shoulder is bedecked with ribbons, and you can say designations, medals are there. But even after having that dignity, they were saluting him, fine, and they were paying their respect to him. They were showing their loyalty towards him. So actually, the end of apartheid has brought all these changes. Clear? Next is why were two, very important, why were two national anthems sung? Why were two national anthems sung? Divyansh and Tanya raising hand. Any other child, beta? Okay, Tanya, you can answer.
Two national anthems were sung in order to depict the equality. It was a gratitude and tribute to the people who had done unimaginable sacrifices for the lives of blacks. That day was symbolized by playing of two national anthems and the vision of whites singing their own and blacks singing Die Stem, which was the old national anthem of the Republic.
Fine. So here I would like to add the Republic of South Africa. Actually, you can say the people of South Africa, they consist of two major constituents, two major categories. You can say the blacks and the whites. So their constituent in the population, they were mainly two, the blacks and the whites. So it was thought necessary to show respect to both the races, because in this new republic, everybody will be equal, getting equal opportunities and rights and justice. So it was thought necessary to pay respect or gratitude to sentiments of both the communities. So that's why playing the two national anthems symbolized actually the unity, the brotherhood, the equality. Clear? So you can also write the names of, they are in some other language, Nkosi Sekeli, Africa, and Die Stem, the old anthem. If you can remember, do mention that. Clear? Now, third question is, how does Mandela describe the systems of government? I guess we will be able to finish these three questions only, and again, this chapter is quite lengthy. Then we are having more question answers on page 24, exercise on 25, 26, 27, fine. So one more lecture will go in it. I wanted to finish it off, but I don't think so we will be able to. So let's do third question. How does Mandela describe the systems of government in his country in the first decade, in the final decade of the 20th century? So after the Boer War, you can say, he has mentioned in the first, you can say, decade, apartheid was introduced in South Africa. Clear, Divyansh? You can just take notes of value points now. Fine. I won't be asking you to raise hands now onwards because we are just running out of time. I'll be explaining to you. After the Boer War, BOER, they have mentioned in your book, the hated apartheid system, it was introduced in South Africa. So obviously it was based on racial discrimination and segregation, division. So it caused untold sufferings and most inhuman behavior, you can say, fine, and with the blacks in South Africa. But however, things completely changed with the end of apartheid regime. So second part is in the final decade. So in the final decade, in the new setup, all enjoyed justice, all enjoyed peace, equal opportunities, but the same thing again and again. If you just remember one question you will prepare of Nelson Mandela, na, I guess, this apartheid system and how the new system, the points of old system and points of new system, and you are done with this, because same thing is coming again and again. Clear? Irrespective of the race and color, people were getting equal opportunities by the end of this century. But those who are paying attention, jo sun rahe hain, those who are not paying, those who are paying deaf ear to me, they won't be able to attempt any of the questions. Clear? So next is, what does courage mean to Mandela? Courage has a wider significance, you can say, for Mandela. It is not merely limited to physical bravery. Right? It is not merely limited to, you can say, a boldness which we show to others. Actually, by courage, Mandela means the victory over one's own fear. FEAR. Clear? It is our mental strength which helps us to move forward in life. If we intrinsic motivation, you can say. Intrinsic, if you cannot use this word, you can say inner motivation. The inner motivation and inner strength can take you further in life. A brave man is not he who is never afraid, but he who conquers fear. This is the better quotation or line given in your book at the end only. You can underline and you can write that exactly. A brave man is not he who is never afraid. You can't get afraid. The brave man is that he who conquers fear, who overcomes his fear. So this is the broader definition of courage. What does he think is natural, to love or to hate? Mandela thinks that no one is born hating another person, fine, because of his color, caste, religion, skin tone. People must learn to hate. And if they learn to hate, they can be taught to love also. He's saying people are taught to hate others on the basis of color, caste, and creed. If they can taught to hate others, they can be taught to love others also. It's up to us how we raise our children, how we raise our kids, what we teach them. Clear? If we can teach them to hate others on the basis of discrimination, we can teach them to love also. Clear? Mandela thinks that love comes more naturally. It's a natural phenomena to the human heart than hate. Hate is imbibed. You can say hate is taught by the people to their children, but love comes naturally. This is a natural feeling. We can just flourish it by imbibing in the children. Clear? So we have done page number 21 also, but we are not having much time, beta. So we will continue the question answers in next period, but let me tell you, we are not having that much time. After this, I have proposed poem Wind. So tomorrow I'll just, I won't be asking any of you to answer because that technology takes much time. Clear? So I'll be explaining few questions are left only. Most of the questions we have done. Those who have answered me in the chat box, like Raina is there, Dakshita is there. Those who were answering, Bisam was there. I just say that well done to all the students who participated in this discussion. Well done. And I just expect more and more students also to speak, to take part, so that we can have the assurance, okay, you are participating here. Clear? So with this, I will be ending this meet, beta. I am having next period. Have a nice day, beta. See you tomorrow.